Hey everybody, this is Retro Gaming Ninja RGN coming back tonight to wrap up our Famicom rebuild. This is the Famicom that I actually got from Japan. You guys saw the before pictures and video that I put up where this thing was just absolutely disgusting. And I took it apart, I cleaned the circuit board, I cleaned the controllers, I cleaned the case, did a little bit of retro writing on the case, got it nice and white. I had shot a really long video, like 45 minutes of me putting this all back together, putting the controllers together, putting the deck together, and putting the bass back together. The problem with that is that my new studio mic and my freeware that I used to record the sound on had an error. The sound had a click every second. It was a click, 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 click. And through editing, I've been able to mute that click a little bit, but the audio is not very good, and I'm not real satisfied with it. So what I'm going to do tonight is kind of walk you through some topics and some stuff that we went through, putting this guy back together, some things you may want to be aware of if you try to tackle a project like this. I will upload the video of the 45-minute video of me of actually doing all the work. Didn't want to take it all back apart and restage that. That just seems kind of silly to me. Be aware that audio is poor. So let's go through this a little bit. I'm going to show you guys a before picture of the controllers. I'm going to put that in right now. Now I took the controllers apart, and the rubber membranes underneath it were all pretty nasty, and so were the buttons. We scrubbed those up and got them all clean. And as you can see in this after picture, it's all nice and clean, and it looks really good, and it's really smooth. Put those back together for us. The buttons feel really great. The slider's really good. One of the things you got to be careful with this guy, on the second controller on the Famicom, it has a built-in microphone, so when you take it apart you'll see a microphone here, and this slider has two metal contacts on it that you're going to want to clean before you put it back in. And when you put it back in, make sure that when you turn it all the way down, you hear a click. That means that the microphone's volume's off. If you don't hear that click, you've inserted this guy incorrectly into your control port 2, your second controller, and you're going to want to go back and check on that. Now, these are nice and clean now. They still have tons of wear on them. I will be looking to replace the shells at least on these guys, if not the entire controller. Player 1 controller is the one that's the most used. As you can see, I barely have a B here and absolutely no A button here from the wear on this guy. He is just worn out. You can see the discolorations around the control pad here as well. So looking to replace these cases with original Famicom parts. Next, let's take a look at the bottom case, and you'll notice that this guy here, let me zoom out a little bit, is nice and clean. There's no dirt down in these cracks here. In the before picture, which I'll put up right now, there was just tons and tons of dust in this guy. We had to take him, clean him with some warm soap water, scrub him with a toothbrush, and in the after picture, which you'll see right now, he's nice and clean. We've managed to get all the dust out, and really turned out pretty nicely. What I love about this one is that it still has the original sticker on here, and that's just one of the great things about this, is that it's, let's see if we get it to focus for us. Focus. It's not going to focus for me. There we go. There, the sticker. Love that it still has the serial number on it and the original sticker on the base, so that's really awesome. So this turned out really well. Now, the next before picture you're going to see is of this guy here. Now, when I got him, he was just disgusting yellow, as you guys can see in this before picture. The next picture you're going to see is the picture after I cleaned him with soap and water. He turned out really nice. He wasn't as yellow as I thought he was. We managed to get a lot of the dust off of him. Now, this third picture you're going to look at is what he looks like after I did a small, quick retro brighting. I just used some straight peroxide, threw it in a bucket outside in the Texas summer sun, and left it out there for about 2 hours. I really didn't want to leave it out there much longer because of these stickers that it has on here. I don't want to ruin the stickers because I love these stickers that they're additional. They're original. They're not been replaced or reprinted. The only thing that I did have a problem with when retro brighting is I did develop a couple bubbles on the front logo here. And that's okay. Not the best idea. The plastic on the label actually started coming up, so I took it out of the retro bright. After that, we tackled the actual motherboard. This guy, what you can see in this guy is that he just was covered in dust and absolutely nasty. So take a look at this before picture, before I cleaned it. As you can tell, the circuit board is completely covered in dust. The power circuit board is covered in dust, especially inside the RF shielding there. In the after picture, this is just soap and water. We scrubbed him off real good with some warm soap and water, and then I doused the entire board with some alcohol. The alcohol helps that water evaporate off and let it dry. Later I went back and cleaned it up with some Q-tips and alcohol just to make sure I got everything. As you can tell, it turned out really nice. So let's go through a couple things you're going to need to know about putting this guy back together. You work from the bottom down on the Famicom. It's not like the NES where you actually take the top of the clamshell off and you work from the top down. You work from the bottom down. Everything is going to be reversed. The first thing you have to do when you put this Famicom back together is to put your buttons in. Your power button and your reset button have to go in first. The eject button here, you do that later. After you put these two power buttons in, you're also going to have to attach the eject lever. There's a plastic bar that runs underneath here, right here. This is the eject button. And it has a spring, a little hook at the front. So you need to connect that spring from this eject bar to that front, and that's what gives you the pull back there when you go to eject. I don't know if you can see down in there, but the eject button pushes the cart up and out as you push out. Now, after you got that eject button in there, you need to put on the power switch. The power switch has two screws that hold it in. That then allows you to turn your power on and off. So put that in next. What I do after that, now the power switch runs, the cable runs all the way around here and underneath this front port and then down in there. So I don't know if you can see that red and white cable that runs all the way back from the power supply all the way to the front, goes under this port, back around, and then that's where your power switch sits, right there. After that, excuse me, after that, you're going to run your controller cables. Remember, you're working from the bottom down. So controller 1 goes on your right, controller 2 goes on your left. The cables are only long enough the way they're set up for controller 1. Controller 1's cable will not be long enough for controller 2's pathway here. Okay, so you run controller 1 around, you plug it in, run it on the outside of these posts, and it sits in this groove here. Let's see if you can see the groove. Then the actual cord will sit inside a groove here that you just kind of press it down in there. Okay, after you do that, you're going to have to deal with these little grommets. These little grommets, let me show you one, are basically beveled on one end and not on the other. You're going to notice that when you run your cables, there's going to be a little loop that is in here. See this loop right here? It needs to be in there at the back of this post. Then you can take your grommet, you open it up, slide it over your cable like this, and it only fits in one way into this slot. When you push it in, it sits right down in there like that. So you're going to do that with both controllers. Run them exactly the same way. Controller 2 is going to plug here, and it's going to run underneath this port, back down that side, It also will have a twist at the back and the grommet as well to hold it in. And then you can line up your circuit board. Line up your circuit board, and then you can start putting your screws in. There's 2, 4 screws in this first circuit board and 4 in the power circuit board as well. Once you've lined that up, at that point you can close up your unit. Make sure that when you go to close up your unit, you match up the back where the cutouts are for the cables. And it should just sit right down on there real nice and tight. I'm not going to put you guys through watching me screw this in. I'm sure you've seen 100 videos where people are screwing in screwing in screws into systems. All in all, I will say that the cleanup of this guy has been extremely good, and I'm really happy with that. For what I paid for it, I think it's an absolute steal to have this in my collection. I have tested this. I ordered a Famicom cartridge. I ordered Super Mario. Everybody has to have Super Mario on every Nintendo system. It's kind of like a law. And I took it up to my HD TV and tested it, and it works really well. Now the picture's horrible because it's an HD TV, and I'm looking towards getting a small CRT 13-19 inch so I can play these classic games on there. But it worked. That means the system worked. All we had to do is give it a little tender loving care, get it cleaned up, and now we have a great addition to the collection. Alright guys, that's the short recap of the Famicom rebuild. I will post, like I said, the really long video with the poor audio so you can watch it if you're really interested in seeing those screws go in and me fumble through setting this thing up. I will post that for you too as well. I will not attach it to a playlist because really I'm not happy with the video, but it is a learning experience. This was the first Famicom I took apart. Hopefully it will not be the last, but it was the first, and I learned a lot by doing this, and we come out successful with a great working unit. If you like this video, be sure to give me a like. I appreciate any of the comments that you guys leave for me, constructive or not. You know, it's an open forum. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.